Hello and welcome to Norwood News. Today is Friday, October 29th, and I'm your host, Krista McDonald. It is great to have you with us as we end another week here in Norwood. Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, the fall's first nor'easter blew ashore, bringing heavy rain and very strong winds. The storm caused extensive damage around town, including many downed trees and scattered power outages. Throughout the day, Wednesday and Thursday, light department crews were responding to a number of calls as part of the storm cleanup.
Hello Norwood, I'm Jason Haber, the Assistant Superintendent here at the Norwood Light Department. I'm coming to you from the James F. Collins Operations Center over here at 136 Access Road. We're actually inside our storm room right now, so I wanted to get you guys a feel of our operations during the storm. As you know, Tuesday into Wednesday there was a heavy windstorm. The gusts were up to 45 miles per hour. And we had some pretty significant tree damage. Just to give you guys a little facts here, there was 29 separate incidents between 8 p.m. on Tuesday the 26th and noon on Wednesday the 27th. So the light department responded to 29 incidents. Out of those 29 incidents, we had approximately 1,200 customers that didn't have power. Luckily for us, the majority of those incidents were small outages, and the larger outage that you see behind me was around 1,000 customers. Now, this outage here was the tree that fell down on Washington and Railroad. What you're actually looking at is a investment in technology that the light department's made over the years. So this is our automatic meter system that ties into our OMS, or outage management, which is also tied into our GIS, or Geographical Information System. So what happens is when the meter loses power, we get notified on the map, and you could zoom in, you could see all the details behind all the meters that are out and how many people are out. So just to give you some kind of nitty-gritty information here, at 5:45 a.m. the tree fell down. We lost 1,027 customers. But by 7:05, we had all but 95 of them back on that were affected by the tree outage. That would be impossible to do without the help of the police department, the fire department, and the DPW. Without the other emergency service staff throughout town and the support of them, our guys wouldn't be able to get to the outages. So kudos to all three of those departments, because you helped a lot. By 11 p.m., we were able to have all of the residents of Norwood and businesses back online. So I'm very, very proud of the fact that the surrounding towns still had a lot of outages, and we were able to get all of our customers restored by 11 p.m. on Wednesday the 27th. Beyond the other departments I already thanked, it's worth mentioning that without our customer service and our linemen, our electricians, our engineering staff, I'm sure I'm missing someone, our operators at the substation, it really is a team effort.
Also responding were the DPW crews who were out cleaning the debris that had fallen from the strong winds. Downed trees and tree limbs were spread around roadways across town.
DPW went to work late in the evening on October 26th, responding to some downed limbs, and then that continued on through the night with multiple trees and limbs falling down because of the high winds, the rain, and the trees still having leaves on there. We spent most of the day on October 27th going around addressing some other areas of trees had fallen down, large limbs had fallen down. DPW crews did a great job throughout the day yesterday, October 27th, clearing the debris and bringing it up here at the landfill, where you see most of the remnants of that storm behind me. Busy time, very stressful at times for the crews. They're out there in the dark. Winds are whipping 60 miles per hour at some point, rain coming down, but as usual, they did a great job for all of us here in Norwood, and everyone got home safely. And one thing we can take away from this is, thank goodness it wasn't snow, but I'm sure that will come in the future days. So I hope everyone is safe at home, and if everything is okay, and if you have any issues with some down limbs that still need to be addressed, please call Public Works at 781-762-1413.
Thanks to both departments for all their hard work to get the storm cleaned up and the power restored around town. Earlier this week, the Norwood Fire Department received a call that the responding paramedics will not soon forget. Fire dispatch received a call that a woman had gone into labor. As paramedics arrived and began transporting the patient to the hospital, they quickly realized that the baby was not going to wait. They delivered the little boy in the back of the ambulance en route to the hospital. We were able to speak with firefighter and paramedic Matt DeFont about the experience.
Definitely a call that most medics kind of dread, just because we don't do them too often. But everything worked out great. I actually saw her on the sidewalk waiting for us. I remember Katie from high school. So as soon as I saw her, I go, "Oh, this baby's coming out." Just because, usually we have people that are pregnant, but they usually don't deliver. Maybe just some pain, something like that. We'll take them to the hospital. But as soon as I saw it was her, I was like, "Oh, this is inevitable." But it all worked out great. Baby came quick, and then it was just back to training, back to the basics, warming the baby, and just getting mom comfortable. Luckily we had a good driver, he got us there quick, and another medic with me that was great too. So definitely, stressful call, but once it's all said and done, it's nice to have a good story to look back on.
On Wednesday, the proud parents of the new little boy returned to the fire department to say thank you to the paramedics who were on call that day. For DeFont, it was great to see Mom, Dad, Big Brother Tony, and the star himself, little Joey.
It's kind of cool to see him again, and obviously they live in town, so I'll probably be seeing him throughout the years, running around town, and if I see Katie at the grocery store or what have you, it'll be kind of cool to see the little guy and, bring up the memories from a good call.
Great work by firefighters DeFont, Bailey, and the rest of the crew that responded to the call that day. Stay tuned after this break for a special presentation at the Selectmen's meeting and an update from Chief Brooks. Welcome back. Norwood Community Media made an appearance at the Selectmen's meeting Tuesday night. Jack Tolman and Megan Corbett gave an in-depth presentation of how NCM is a necessity to the town of Norwood. NCM's Board of Directors was present for the meeting, as well as several community members to speak on NCM's behalf. The Norwood Light Department, Verizon, and Comcast licenses expire respectively on April 22, 2022, October 2, 2022, and February 1, 2024. The Federal Cable Act 47 U.S.C. 546 requires a public proceeding to ascertain the community's cable-related needs and interests as part of the license renewal process applicable to expiring cable licenses.
We have a mix of about 50% is the government. Local origination is shows that we produced, such as like Norwood Digest, Your Town at Work, Norwood News. We cover sporting events on the town and school side, public access, which is Tom Cummings, Pastaluma, and education, which makes up the rest of the 25%. We feel we have a good balance of stuff that we cover in town. I want to talk about our government meetings quickly, and then I'll talk more about it later on, but we cover 20 different boards and committees. We cover, on average, each week, 5 to 6 meetings. Some are live, some aren't. Every single week the Selectmen is live, every other week the school committee is live. If a meeting is not live, it is taped and it is broadcast the next day and up on our video on demand for viewers.
Selectman Donahue recognized the importance of having NCM as an archive to help preserve the history of Norwood.
What Mr. Tolman and his crew are doing to helping preserve the history of the town of Norwood, with all these documentaries that they're doing, and this is becoming a vital part of preserving the history of the town. And I'm not good on computers, but I can tell you, when a person can get a piece of paper in the mail and say, put this and that on it, and your family on the other side of the world can watch it, that's pretty amazing. Mrs. Monahan brought it up.
Tolman expressed the ease of working with the cable companies to troubleshoot any problems and provide a signal to cable customers in Norwood.
On technical issues, they're responsible for helping us provide the signal. And all three, when I call them the guys in the trenches, when they come, they care about the quality of the signal. They come and troubleshoot. So I have no complaints about any transmission issues. That's what we're responsible for handing them the signal. And if there's an issue, and quite frankly, we haven't had to call in quite a while, because once we've gone digitally it works or it doesn't. So I can definitely say that I have no issues with the service and the customer service on our end. When we need help, we call in and all three are there.
Whether it be news, community and school events, sports, or government meetings, NCM is dedicated to providing quality content to the people of Norwood. Last week, the Norwood Police Department announced that one suspect of September's murder case has turned himself in. Chief Brooks has more.
I think as most people know, there was a fatal shooting on Sturtevant Avenue on September 19th. We began an investigation into that shooting in conjunction with the Office of the Norfolk District Attorney. We used state police assets, including the Crime Lab, Crime Scene Services, and Ballistics. As a result of our investigation with them, warrants issued for two subjects, both wanted for that murder. On October 18th, almost a month to the day after the murder, one of those two subjects, a man by the name of Anthony Loper Feaster, came to the Norwood Police Department and turned himself in on the murder warrant. He was subsequently arraigned at the Dedham District Court, and he is being held without bail. The second subject in the case, a man by the name Ernest Payne, is still wanted in connection with the murder, and we continue to seek to arrest him. Aspects of the case are still under investigation, so I can't say more. So we have one in custody, and we seek the second.
Also last week, police chiefs from around the state traveled to Norwood for the annual Massachusetts Chiefs of Police Association Conference. Chief Brooks chairs this committee that puts together the training conference.
So last week, October 19, 20, and 21, we had police chiefs and deputy chiefs at the Sheraton Four Points. Our attendance was 340. It's the largest conference ever. And for 3 days, officers in attendance heard about mental illness, suicide issues. Police and FBI from Nashville, Tennessee came in to talk to us about the Christmas Day bombing that occurred in the center of Nashville. The Peace Officers Standards and Training Commission had members there, including the chair, and talked to us about some of the changes around police reform and policing in Massachusetts. It was a great 3-day conference. The Sheraton Four Points does a fabulous job, and that's why our annual conferences are always held there. So it was nice to have the 340 police chiefs and deputy chiefs in town for those 3 days, and we'll look forward to having them back next fall.
And finally this week, the FBI hosted a training for NPD detectives and detectives of surrounding towns right here in Norwood.
And the topics largely revolved around their behavioral analysis capability, their violent criminal apprehension program, and the use of genealogy in the investigation of serial homicide and serial sexual assault. It was a very interesting day of training. It was great of the FBI to send folks out to talk to us about this sort of thing. We don't have a lot of those cases, but as in so many areas of policing, we need to be ready for it in case it comes upon us. So again, my thanks to the Bureau, my thanks to the detectives from the surrounding agencies and detectives of the Norwood PD for being here for the day to undergo that training.
Thank you, Chief, for the update. And now we're going to toss it to Miles Kidd with the latest in school news.
Hi guys, I'm Miles Kidd, and let's take a look at some activities happening in our Norwood schools this week. Norwood High School has received their copy of the completed NEASC report. NEASC is the New England Association of Schools and Colleges, and here is Principal Dr. Hugh Galligan to explain the importance of this report.
Norwood High School is really excited and happy to report on a very successful NEASC accreditation report. NEASC is the New England Association of Schools and Colleges, and continuously Norwood High School and every school in New England at the high school and college level goes through this process to remain accredited. It's a 10-year process that involves deep self-reflection on behalf of the staff, community, and students, and then 2 visits where a team of experts come in, take a look at your school, and give you feedback on areas of improvement and things that you are doing well. So in the fall of 2018, Norwood High School hosted what is called the Collaborative Conference. And this is a 3-day visit where a team of 4 people come in, work with the school to identify areas of improvement. We try to sync this up really closely to our school improvement plan so that we synthesize all of our efforts moving forward on behalf of our students so that we're improving teaching, learning, and the school culture all throughout. Over the course of the fall 2018 to the spring of 2021, Norwood High School had a NEASC improvement plan, again in line with our school improvement plan, to be able to address some of these things and work through it. In March 2021, we hosted what is called our decennial visit, and this is where 10 members come in and take a look, and this team is made up of central office administrators, school-based administrators, teachers and educators from all across New England that comprise of this team. And they come in and help you provide some feedback on what you've done well since the last visit. So Norwood High School is really excited to report they received really positive feedback on what are called commendations in some really specific areas. As you may know, we've been working over the past few years to develop our portrait of the Norwood graduate. And these are the 5 C's, the skills that we want all of our students to continually be working on, and that we as a staff can help our students build all of the time. And these are the 5 C's that we call that are communication, critical thinking, collaboration, creativity, and citizenship. And all of these things drive our daily activities and learning here. We combine that with our mission statement of the 4 A's, excellence in academics, arts, athletics, and activities. We received really positive feedback from the NEASC accreditation board on the integration of those things into our daily life here. So when they came, they wanted to see how are we embedding those things into the academic life of the school, as well as into some of the extracurricular aspects of the school too that make up a full high school experience. We got some really positive feedback on the activities that we've done, focusing with our students and staff on building a more inclusive school, on focusing on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and building that for a really diverse group of students in the school community. Lastly, we've got significant praise on our facility, and the additions that we were able to make to our staff due to as a result of the override a couple years ago. So some really great feedback on the budget process, the facilities, and really high praise for providing a safe, supportive atmosphere where students can pursue academic excellence. So we're putting out a press release to you with a little bit more information, and we thank you for your continued support in the community. Again, we always say 4 A's, 5 C's, 1 team, and that 1 team is made up of our staff, our students, our families, and the community at large. So thank you for your support.
Well, that's it for school news. There's something interesting happening in our schools and classrooms every day, and thanks to all the educators who share their news with us. Now let's send it over to Mike Maloof for the latest in fall sports.
Hello and welcome to the Sports Update. Thursday was a very special night up here at Norwood High School. The Unified Basketball team hosted their first annual Thank You First Responders Night. Coach of the Unified team, Chris McDonald, addressed the crowd before the game to explain what the Unified team is.
For those that might be new to the term Unified Team, this is a new initiative Norwood High School is starting this year. It is not new in general. There are 6 other schools in the Tri-Valley League that also have unified teams. Unified teams are an extension of Special Olympics. The difference with unified teams is that we have athletes and we have athlete mentors on the same team. So pretty cool experience. The goal of unified programs is to create a more inclusive, safe, very cool, all-in community like you're seeing here tonight. And so we are very, very proud to have all of you guys in attendance. And we will get to our stars of the night in a second. Our school was recently named a Unified Champion School District, which is a very special designation that not many schools get. So we're one of few in Massachusetts that have that right now. So all of our schools were able to parade the torch to symbolize the Special Olympic torch, going through all the schools in the district last week. We had our amazing police officers and our fire department there to help us with that torch, along with representatives from Special Olympics. So just a really cool event. We're psyched to have this opportunity.
The first quarter of the game saw the police and fire departments squaring off against each other. Let's just say there was some rust from both teams. The second quarter, members of the unified team joined the fire and police departments for a joint game.
Mahoney making his debut on the court. I think he's trying. Oh! David Shaw. Oh! We got ourselves a little showdown right now.
At halftime, Coach McDonald honored all the first responders at the game.
We've all had a tough, 18, 20 months, right? We've been through a lot together, especially as a community, and regardless of what we've been through, there's been a certain group of people that have always been there in the front lines the entire time. So we would first like to recognize our Norwood Police Department. We combined this group. These are our fire and paramedics who, as we know, do it all. They're the first on scene. They have been tremendous for our community. They were the first group when Unified became a thing to reach out and say, hey, we want to do whatever we can to sponsor that, and immediately helped with funding and just great support the entire time. So let's give a big round of applause to our Norwood Fire Department. We have two more groups. These are the people, both these groups kind of go hidden a lot, and you don't recognize necessarily what they do on a day-to-day basis, but especially in our school here at Norwood High School, they were definitely our first responders. The first group we'd like to recognize, and she is representing two of them today. One of the other nurses couldn't make it, are our school nurses, Kathy Crowley and Jen Hardery. And our last group, we would like to recognize our administrators. First, our assistant principal, Mrs. Cindy Durain. And because you can't have one without the other, they are a package deal to us, Dr. Hugh Galligan, our principal.
The third and fourth quarters were run the same way as the first and second, and a great job by Coach McDonald, her staff, the police and fire departments, and the unified players for putting on such a special night. It really seemed like everyone enjoyed. The remaining fall sports ended their regular seasons this week, with some still hoping to clinch a playoff berth. Let's take a quick recap of the scores, and I'll break down the current postseason projections. Football dropped a tough one in a Tri-Valley matchup of the year against Ashland. The Mustangs fell 29-20. Volleyball lost 2 this week, the first against Sharon 3-1, and then against Holliston 3-1. Boys soccer also dropped 2, the first a 3-0 loss against Medfield, and then a 6-0 loss against Holliston. Girls soccer dropped 2 close ones this week, a 1-0 loss to Medfield and a 1-0 loss to Holliston. And finally, field hockey beat Medfield 3-0 and tied Holliston 1-1. For those that don't know, this is the first time the MIA has changed the format on how teams are going to qualify for postseason. In years past, it went by win percentage, so a 500 record or better, with some exceptions, has gotten you into the postseason. This year, the MIA has shifted to a power rankings. By definition, on the MIA website, rating is the system or formula that analyzes the results of competition to provide a numerical representation of competition of strength. They will now use criteria such as ratings, wins and losses, margin of victory, and strength of schedule to rank the 32 best teams in the state. They will also no longer have sectional brackets, and it will be one tournament made up of the best 32 teams from South, North, Central, and West. The final pairings are set to come out early next week, but the MIA has released a weekly updated rankings list, and these are the rankings as of October 25th. Field hockey is in the tournament, and currently is ranked 15th and could potentially host a first-round matchup. Girls soccer is sitting on the bubble at 30th. With 2 losses this week, that could slide, but they will eagerly be awaiting the rankings as they come out next week. Volleyball is also in a very similar position, sitting at 31. With 2 losses this week, they will await the results of these rankings. Well, that's all for sports this week. Make sure to follow us on social media at the beginning of next week for information about tournament games. Kristen, back to you.
Thanks, Mike. In Government Monday night, the Planning Board covered 3 public hearings during the 3-hour meeting. The first hearing was for a signed special permit for Foley's Pull and Scare Shortman Insurance Agency. After a lengthy discussion centering around the square footage of the sign, the board motioned to approve the signage with final review by Town Planner Paul Halkiotis. The second hearing of the night was for a special town permit at the Norwood Space Center. During this discussion, 2 public hearings were considered. One for a parking requirement special permit, and second for landscaping. Representatives for the Norwood Space Center presented to the board, then fielded questions regarding the special permit. Following the presentation, a motion was made.
Okay, now, so I'll make the motion that we waive the 31 spaces required with a reevaluation 6 months after the food court opens and 6 months later.
Second. Okay, is there anything else to that? Or is that covers everything for the parking? And we have a second. Is that you, Debbie?
That would be me.
That would be you. Okay, any further discussion on that? Seeing none, we'll come to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Hearing none, it looks like 5-0. Let's go through the roll call. Debbie?
Aye.
Brian Hatchie?
Aye.
Rob Bamber?
Aye.
Ernie Pachikowski?
Aye.
And the chairman says aye, so that's a 5-0.
The landscaping public hearing was voted to be continued at the November 8th meeting. The last public hearing of the night was for a major project special permit and site plan review at 7 to 9 Cottage Street. The board motioned to approve with conditions stated by Halkiotis. The next meeting for the planning board will be November 8th. Tuesday morning, the Board of Health met in the craft room of the Senior Center. The meeting began with a photo voice presentation from Impact Norwood's youth ambassadors, then discussion shifted to the most recent COVID data and policies. In old business, the board provided an update on the flu clinic, received a public health nurses update, and the environmental health inspectors report. To end the meeting, Sigal Reese provided her director's report, which included contact tracing updates and discussion on Hazardous Waste Day. The next Board of Health meeting will be November 16th. The Board of Selectmen all took time at the beginning of their meeting Tuesday night to reflect and remember Selectman Hajar.
David was much loved by those who knew him best and widely liked by his fellow townspeople, and he was universally respected for his devotion to the town's welfare and for his diligence in pursuing measures by which to achieve it. Prior to his 5.5 years on this board, he served on the Norwood Finance Commission, and for 13 years he served on our Personnel Board, much of that time as chairman. He helped organize and served as the first chairman of Impact Norwood, and he was a longtime member of town meeting.
I have to say that working with David was so much of a help to my knowledge and understanding of matters that came before the board. He took it upon himself to create policies started off with the Personnel Board, all those years, 13 years, rewriting job descriptions, hearing both sides of people's stories, making decisions on whether or not people should get this or that benefits. Then, as a member of the Board of Selectmen, Finance Commission, yes, as a member of the Board of Selectmen, creating policies. I think he picked up on the taxi cabs that Mr. Plasko had started with, but he went from one thing to another and was always willing. I have to say that he was an exceptional, caring person. He loved his family, he loved his church, and he loved the town of Norwood, and he loved helping out. This will be a very hard person to try and replace.
But I want to go back to his work ethic and particularly his tireless efforts as a selectman. He was ready, willing, and capable, and gladly did the heavy lifting. Speaking for myself, I was willing to sit back and serve maybe as a senior advisor, but happy to let him do that hard work. But now with his passing and his absence, we are all going to have to pick up the mantle and do that extra work and do that in remembrance of David.
I think I spent more time with David than anyone else besides my family in the past year and a half since I've been on the board. And like Mr. Plasko said, I mean, his work ethic was inspiring. It really made you want to do the work and do the background and be able to speak to David on that same level. And so I do agree that the best way that we can honor him is to put the work in.
The board received a recommendation from General Manager Mizuko to appoint Maria Galeason to the Community Preservation Committee. The board will meet with her at a future meeting. The Selectmen also discussed the holiday meeting schedule and the approval of licenses for 2022. The Board of Selectmen will meet again on November 9th. The Airport Commission met on Wednesday afternoon. Du Bois and King presented a project update regarding the taxiway Delta construction plan. In his airport manager's report, Russ McGuire updated the group on the successful Wings and Wheels event that happened a few weeks ago.
You know, in the written report, I've actually provided some of the kind of context of the October 16th special event that we had, the 3-hour Wings and Wheels event here at the airport. This was an event that was co-hosted by the airport department and the recreation department. We had some strong support from Flight Level as well. Flight Level provided the apron under the lease they're required to, but they went above and beyond, Mr. Chairman, as far as I was concerned. The owner of Flight Level, Alan Radlow, the general manager, Mike Kay, Eileen Engelman, one of the senior managers, as well as a bunch of line staff were involved in moving aircraft and really turning this into a, helping us to turn it into a top-notch event. We had about 370 people here. Most of these folks were residents who had pre-registered with the recreation department, and so we were able to get them from the Hill area where we had set up bouncy houses and some tables and whatnot. And we were able to set them up in groups and bring them onto the airport, onto Flight Level's lots ABC, take them down, show them the new hangar. We had staged some aircraft there, and we also had participation from a number of municipal departments, Public Works being one of them, Norwood Police, Norwood Fire, the Light Department as well. So we had vehicles from those departments along with some staged aircraft, and it was really a great afternoon. Had an opportunity to meet with the Mass DOT Aeronautics Inspector who was here for the event, and he was pretty impressed with kind of the orderly nature of it, and also the fact that everyone seemed to have a great time. And I know that you've been privy to some of the after-action comments from the community. Sounds like it was a great event, and we're looking forward to doing it again.
Later, the board voted to send the final draft of the Airport Commissioner job description to the town manager for review. Before adjournment, the board discussed an update on a proposed playground to be built near the airport. This project was accepted by the Community Preservation Committee and is just awaiting funding approval from the Mass DOT. The board meets next in November. The school committee met remotely Wednesday evening. Dr. Wyeth presented an update on the 2020-2021 MCAS test results across the district. Chair Stewart updated the group on the latest COVID trends reported by the Health Department. Dana Brown presented an update on the strategic plan. Superintendent Thompson gave his report and highlighted the need for additional staffing at 3 schools, the Willett, the middle school, and the high school. The board approved all 6 requests for additional staffing. Treasurer Karen Sheridan reviewed updates to the budget. The group reviewed changes to mask policy before adjournment. The board meets next on November 17th. The Historical Commission met at the Morse House on Thursday morning. The group reviewed the GNET report and details regarding the CPC pre-application. The board also discussed updates on the Norwood Historic House Signs project, including an upcoming presentation to the Board of Selectmen. Tony Esco and Judith Howard prepared details for their upcoming meeting with town officials regarding grant funding. Before adjournment, the board reviewed proposals for Norwood's 150th celebration and zoning changes. The board meets next in November. For complete government coverage, tune into the NCM Government channel or watch on demand at norwoodcommunitymedia.org. Stay tuned after this break for more town news.
Hi, I'm Clayton Cheever, Director of the Morrill Memorial Library here in beautiful Norwood. We need your help. We need to know what you appreciate about current library resources and services and how you'd like to see them change in the next 3 to 5 years. Every 5 years, the library conducts intensive community research to focus our activities where they can best meet Norwood's needs. Please help us learn more about how we may best serve our great town. You can help us by completing the community survey easily linked to from the QR code on the screen or by using any web browser to navigate to bit.ly/mml-survey-2021. I also wanted to invite you to attend one of the community listening sessions we're holding at the library. They're happening on Monday evening, October 18th from 6 to 8, and on Tuesday afternoon, October 19th from 2:30 to 4:30. 2 more sessions are scheduled for Friday and Saturday in early November if neither of those 2 October sessions fits into your schedule. Thanks in advance for your help making sure we hear your voice and understand how you wish to see our library develop.
Welcome back. The Women's Business Network is an organization based in Norwood. These businesswomen work together to bring different services to the community. Here's Erin Crowley with this week's Living Local.
Michelle Toronto is the president of the Women's Business Network. She started the group in 2015 to grow her real estate business. Since then, the WBN has expanded to 12 active members.
I couldn't find one in the local area. So I decided to start one, and I thought there was nothing like a women's group around, and I thought that would be a really nice touch for me and other women in the area to help grow their businesses.
Michelle says it's the blend of different ages, personalities, and industries that make the WBN unique.
We have one industry per seat, so we really don't find any competition with each other. And we have really all different facets, larger businesses, smaller businesses, at-home businesses, from travel to mortgages to life insurance, home insurance, financial planning, handyman, custom cookies, cosmetics, accounting. So we have myself as a realtor. We have a very wide range of real estate, family law attorney. I don't want to forget Catherine. Everybody brings something different to the table. Those of us that are a little older will bring some advice to people that are younger in the group, what has worked for us in our businesses, maybe ways that they can grow their businesses. And the younger members have really taught us more about social media. We've talked about doing a TikTok video, which one of our members introduced at the last meeting. So we're all open to try anything, but it really brings so many different aspects to the group, having the wide range of ages.
According to Michelle, a referral-based networking group adds a personal touch to any service.
So people like to work with people they trust and people they like. So if I can give a resource to one of my clients, one of my family or friends, then I feel much more comfortable doing that than having them have to go in the phone book.
The group is based in Norwood and enjoys working with the community.
And we all feel that it's very important to give back to the community. They all support us in our businesses. So we try to get involved where we can. We are just coming into our biggest event of the year, which is our mitten drive for the whole month of November, where we put donation boxes, about 6 boxes around town, and people donate gently used, new, or even we have people that knit all year long because they anticipate this event, and we donate all the proceeds to the Norwood Food Pantry and the Home for Little Wanderers. And it is amazing as the years have gone by how these donations have grown.
Michelle is grateful to have found new friends in her WBN colleagues.
I didn't anticipate us really helping each other with businesses and our personal lives so much. We've all become great friends and helped each other out a lot, and I really look forward to the meetings. And we get a lot done during our meetings. We never know where they're going to go sometimes, but it seems like we always have fun, we're always laughing, and we're always getting to do what we're there to do, which is referrals and enhancing and growing our businesses. We love to have new faces and new ideas in the group, and we're constantly growing. So they can get in touch with me directly. My number is 781-799-7068. They can also email us at wbnofnorwood.com, or you can check out our Facebook page at WBN Norwood. So any of those areas, I will respond back in a day or two, and we welcome all new members.
For Norwood Community Media, I'm Erin Crowley.
Well, that's all for Norwood News. To stay up to date with Norwood Community Media, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend.